Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo.
Apply today and become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co.
And be sure to add our podcast in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of the application.
Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home and who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 237. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G Network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man?
Dan, it's October. It is the first day of October. Halloween
season.
Halloween is like 30 days away.
It's pumpkin spice and spooky season.
That's right.
I love horror movies. Mm-hmm. I hate spooky video games.
I don't understand. What's that about?
Because I'm not in control of. Listen, it's the movie. The bad guy he's gonna lose or get killed in the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
for the most part.
Sure.
90% of the time.
Sure. I can get behind that because I am afraid of chainsaws, and when you
still you play Gears of War.
I have to force myself to play Gears of War, and I also played all of Resident Evil 4 because I have the guys with the sacks over their heads who wield the chainsaw and just start flailing around like a Leatherface. And because you dared me to do it, I beat all of Resident Evil 7 in VR.
I was impressed because I damn sure wasn't going to do it myself.
I know.
So you did a good job.
It was tough, man. The end of chapter 1 was pretty tough. The rest of it was not that bad.
Got it.
Yeah, because the father, the patriarch of the family, he goes a little nuts in the basement, and that's all I'll say about that.
But I think I can play 8. Okay.
Yeah.
8 seems to be werewolves. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm good with werewolves.
It's not quite zombies in this case. I mean, it could be
not quite zombies.
I mean, it is always infected humans. You know, it's how they got there. Maybe the T virus is involved. Who knows? But
Resident Evil 9 vampire.
Yeah, right. They're just branching out. 10's is going to be aliens for some reason.
Oh yeah. Well, the T virus really came from Mars.
Yeah.
That's how that is. So usually around this time, I would ask you, how was your weekend? But this time we're recording early.
That's right.
Because I'm actually heading out to Philly for the weekend.
Mm-hmm,
so I want a Philly cheesesteak, so I'm taking the weekend to Philly.
Oh, you going to Gino's or Pat's?
Maybe both.
All right.
Both.
All right.
So my question to you is, what are your plans this weekend?
Oh, I don't think my plans can rival yours, but I'm looking at the painter's tape right now. I am painting the hallway, going with a nice light red. It's a little understated, but
Wait. you're painting a hallway red.
Yep. What do you think about that?
What is it? A Nintendo themed hallway? Why is
That
it
kind
red?
of red, man. It's understated red, right? It's a nice light red.
Get the fuck out of here! It's red. Red. It's red.
Okay.
It's
Trust me, you're going to see some
light
pictures.
red.
Don't worry, you're going to see some pictures of it. I'll show you. The thing of it is, I painted the baseboards because the baseboards needed it. So I did that, and then in the process of painting the baseboards, some of the regular paint chipped off. Not to mention there was some water damage and whatever else from the just from the years I've been here. So I was like, well, all right, I have to do this.
Welcome to being a homeowner, my friend.
I know. So it was about time. It's quarantine. What are you going to do?
But why red? Why red? Is this a Mario, a Nintendo themed hallway or a Spider-Man themed hallway?
Nothing to do with that. Nothing
Who
to do with that.
the hell paints their hallways red?
It's a nice color. And it's
it
not
is.
it's
when
not
Spider-Man
red / Nintendo red.
When you're wearing a suit,
you
want to jump around like a spider. Yeah, it's a nice color.
Look. FF0000. That hex code isn't the only kind of red. There's millions of reds out there. This is not the bright red.
I graduated from St. John's University. Red Storm. Okay.
Yeah, so that's Nintendo red.
Yeah,
it's Nintendo
And guess what? We didn't have hallways painted red. We had T-shirts for red on our hallways. Why would you paint it red of all colors?
Well, here's the other thing too: is that it's a white, but it's an off-white, and I did get some touch-up paint, which was the wrong white, so you could see the difference, right? Because I touched up some little areas, so when you look at it from an angle, it's like, oh yeah, those are the spots. So granted, I would be doing like the whole hallway, so it would be like more uniform. But when you come around the corner, it's going to be a different white. So I didn't want to have that. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go red. Why not? I gave it some thought. It wasn't just like whatever. I'm just going to paint it like this white color.
All right.
So
all right. I'm going to give you my last thoughts on this. Okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Are you ready?
I
just want to make sure you're ready.
Sure.
You're sitting down? Okay.
Sure.
All right. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. All right, moving on.
So what would you do? Would you just get a different off-white and have it be different than the other walls?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Or like a light gray. Like they said, if you want to make something look a smaller space look bigger, you get sort of like a light gray color, and that'll make the space look bigger.
Well, I don't have any issues with that. I got a hell of a ton of space.
I don't think anybody in the world has said, you know what, let's paint the hallways red. When you went to go get the paint, did they look at you like you had three heads and said, where the hell do we have red paint? Hey, Charlie, do you have red paint? Because some doofus here wants to paint his hallway red.
Now, hold up. You do know they have a giant wall with all of the colors, all of the Bear Premium paint, which is the brand I got.
And I don't believe I ever saw red.
Dan, you act like this is uncommon.
I saw like 50 different colors of white.
Like this is uncommon.
I saw 50 different.
Yeah. You know what? If you're a basic person who loves pumpkin spice lattes, you're gonna want bare bones, plain ass white walls. I need a little color. I'm sorry.
All right. So, for Christmas, we'll do our Christmas gift exchange. I'll get you a big poster of Spider-Man. It'll go with your red walls.
I'll take it, man. I'll take it. I'll be very happy. You'll see. It's gonna look good.
Well, while you'll be painting, I'll be eating cheesesteaks and hopefully hitting up a GameStop or two in Philly.
Of course, man. You got to get on that hustle. Got to get on the grind.
Yeah. All right. We have an awesome show for you this week. Coming up, we're going to talk new character. Got announced for Smash Bros. Ultimate. And yes, this is a real thing. Do not lick your Xbox.
Oh, helpful PSAs from your friends at Microsoft.
But before we get into any of that, let's begin with Spider-Man 3. Speaking of Spider-Man, yes, there will be a Spider-Man 3 in the MCU. Tom Holland will be back after he's done shooting young Nathan Drake Uncharted, right? But it's weird when he comes back. It looks like he may have an A-lister co-starring in the next Spider-Man. Jamie Foxx.
Oh, yeah?
Jamie Foxx is back as Electro.
Electro. Wow, but that was from a different cinematic Spider-Man universe. Okay.
I think they're trying to maybe possibly bring in the Spider-Verse like we thought they would in part 2, but it turned out to be just, Mysterio's mysterious type of, bells and whistles, and mirrors, right?
So like they did in the animated Spider-Man movie that came out a couple years ago.
Correct. He's not really a super villain. He can make things look like they are real, but they're not because it's all smoke and mirrors.
It's still a pretty good power,
That's not really a power. Anybody can really do it if you have the technology.
Well,
right?
then by that argument, Batman is not a superhero because he just uses his brains and his gadgets.
Well, he has his brains, right?
Okay. Yeah. Well, Mysterio's got brains too. Doesn't he?
Okay.
Doesn't he? He was able to create that suit, right, and be able to like do all that stuff.
That's the thing. Maybe I need to go back and watch part 2 again because I don't think he had a team of people. Like it was.
Well,
he was
the movie
the star.
The movie lore and all that stuff. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm going to the movie. No.
Oh,
I'm talking about the movie. I'm just talking about the movie.
Okay.
Just talking
all
about
right.
the movie.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Listen, I didn't mind Electro in that Spider-Man
part 2,
Spider-Man 2, right?
I didn't see it actually. I only saw the first one.
Because in that universe, Jamie Foxx worked for Oscorp, but in the comics, his character worked for Tony Stark. So they could probably maybe do some finagling, right? Maybe he worked for Oscorp but did work for Tony Stark too on the side. Mm-hmm. Right?
Mm-hmm. Well, both things could be true in this case, as a lot of people like to say nowadays, right? He could work for Oscorp and work for Tony Stark at different times.
Yeah. This is weird and interesting at the same time because we've been talking about maybe. It's kind of strange and interesting because they're trying to bring back sort of like the Spider. Well, we've talked about them potentially bringing back like the Spider-Verse, the different universes, Spider-Mans from different dimensions.
That was a great theory from the last movie that you had, right? Homecoming or Far From Home?
Far From Home. Oh,
yeah, I was like, that's highly plausible given the villain and given what we know about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and the multiverse stuff with we'll call it Doctor Strange, right? It's possible.
Well, maybe that's how they introduced X-Men, right? From a different universe, right? They're coming in from a different universe, maybe potentially.
Because that would be DC, like, well, how have they not been there all this time? Yeah.
And DC, right? DC's been doing multiverses in the television show, and it's been working out perfect. They've yet to do it in a movie, even though they said they're going to do it in a new Flash movie. We'll see how that works out with Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton as Batman.
Right, all the Batmans.
So
all the Batmans.
This is confusing and interesting and semi-exciting because imagine if we had Comic-Con, if there was no zombie apocalypse, if Jamie Foxx just walked on stage for the MCU and be like, "I'm back."
That'd be so awesome, right? And it would have been around this time too. We could have gotten that reveal. Yeah. I think he would have done it.
I'm talking about San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah. Well, either way, it could have been that one. It could have been the New York one. Yeah.
That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome to hear, to see. So,
yeah, man.
As a side note, I know you're not a big wrestling fan. I'm a big wrestling fan. I still watch wrestling. AEW, I love AEW.
AEW is great. I definitely like Chris Jericho.
I think they need to tighten up some things. They're pretty a little bit loose, and put it this way, they can be sometimes all over the place because they have so many different styles of wrestling, of wrestlers that come in, right? And they're like a mesh of styles, even though like WWE is like, you got to do it this way. This is the style we use, right? And I think they could just tighten it up a little bit. I think there's, again, sometimes a little all over the place. But this is why I'm bringing up wrestling right now for you, to tie it into video games.
Go ahead.
So Miro, formerly known as Rusev in the WWE.
I know. I definitely know Rusev.
Rusev Day, which was hot, and Vince just didn't believe in him. He's a great YouTube channel. His real name is Miro. He's a great YouTube channel. he is now in AEW. His character is like someone who he's like Mr. Perfect. Like he could do everything. He's just perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
He can do no wrong. He's the male
Right?
equivalent of a Mary Sue.
There you go. So like they're in like sort of like a Chuck E. Cheese style arcade area, like, you know, just him and his quote unquote best friend that he has to plan a bachelor party for because he's getting married.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, all right, you know, his best friend is like trying to get a high score in something, and he just comes in and gets the high score like it's nothing. And he's trying to figure out what type of bachelor party to have, and he just doesn't know what to do. And so he's playing a game, probably Donkey Kong, but they didn't show it. He's just like playing an arcade game. And Billy Mitchell comes out of nowhere. Mitchell.
Okay.
And he says, hey, I have a great idea for a bachelor party. I can help you out with that. And it's like, tune in next week and we can find out what Billy Mitchell's idea is for like a bachelor party. Is it Donkey Kong themed? That would be funny. And that would make sense because why in the hell you have Billy Mitchell on here?
Right, exactly.
Right?
His biggest claim to fame is the Donkey Kong high score that
Billy Mitchell,
he's gotten multiple times.
He has his world records back for Guinness Book of World Records, right? And now he's on AEW.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if he's a wrestling fan. I mean, he has to be, right? Because why else would they go out? Why else would they go out and get Billy Mitchell?
I can see that. Yeah, you know, it's a little bit of a weird tie-in. But he's the guy. Like, you want to talk about high scores. There are a number of other people who are somewhat known in the community, but to the average to the average person, the guy is Billy Mitchell, right? He's like the
Billy
Tiger
Mitchell,
Woods,
yeah.
right? He's like the face of all that. So
You said the Tiger Woods. I thought you were gonna say Tiger King.
the Tiger, yeah.
I thought you
the Tiger King.
He was the Tiger King.
I mean, that also works too, right? That also works.
Yeah, I guess so. For a while, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, Dave. I got to tell you, I got a couple of good pickups today. Yesterday and today. I got two stories for you. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So
well,
I had
lay
a
it down.
DMV appointment. Okay, earlier in the week. And I went to the DMV super early, ready. You know, I'm trying to fix my license, get my license back. Come to find out, I accidentally mixed up the date. It's the end of the month.
No.
You know,
No.
the end of the month for me in my 9 to 5 is super busy because it's not 9 to 5, it's 9 to whenever.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So totally mixed it up. My fault. Wasted my morning going all the way to the DMV. Okay.
Oh boy.
All right. I mixed it up. I thought it was September 30th. It's November 30th. My appointment's November.
Yeah.
Because it was all booked up. Everyone booked up appointments super early.
Of course.
So I'm so dedicated to fixing my license. I was 2 months early.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at it that way too. All right. So I'm in a part of Queens, New York, super early, wasted my time, didn't know what to do. Ended up going to Target because Target is opens up pretty early, just to check it out, see if they had anything on clearance. Sitting right there on the shelf was a Animal Crossing Switch console.
Oh.
All alone by itself.
Oh.
Was like, you know what? Maybe I didn't waste my time after all.
Mm-hmm.
I can do it. So I picked it up. Funny enough, I went to one of the workers and I say, hey, I want to get this console right. I want to get this console in the glass. He gets it for me, and then some other guy comes from around the corner and is like, oh man, I wanted to get it. And it's like, oh, too late, buddy. So
got in there and snatched it up on him.
If you know, Animal Crossing Switch console was scarce for a long time. They during the pandemic because it came out in April, and on eBay they had it for $1,000, which is crazy, right? Now, since then, I've actually been to Best Buy and the Nintendo store, which is my next story, and I've seen Animal Crossing Switches in there, in both Nintendo store and Best Buy. Not a lot, maybe like one or two on a shelf. That's it.
Sure.
But it is not as scarce as it once was.
Okay.
Right. So I still picked it up. I really wanted one. I wanted to have a different dock, a different color. I didn't want to have the same black dock. Right. So I have the Switch. So I have it. And I wanted to get a new model, right? The upgraded model with the better battery life,
right.
Slightly better battery life. So I have that now. So
Okay.
I'm excited, super happy for that. My second story, I went to the office. I haven't been to my office in 6 months. So I went to the office today for the first time.
Hey, at least you can go to your office.
Yes. I'm not gonna lie. I went to the 50% of me going to the office was to clean up because it is a mess, and we will start going back once a week to the office and working from home 4 days a week. And the other half, the other 50% of me going in because I want to go to the Nintendo store and get the amiibo.
There you go.
I got to.
Ulterior motives. I get it.
And I ended up picking up Hero and Joker from Persona.
Nice.
Well, Hero from Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's Dragon Quest. Mm-hmm. And Joker from Persona. I got those amiibo from the Nintendo store. They had a bunch of... This is why I love going to the Nintendo store. They always have like a bunch of knickknacks or something. Posters that you can get too. Now, the guy that I know wasn't there today. Because usually if I'm there, he just says, I'll give you the poster. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just,
I'll hook you up.
Go to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they had a bunch of posters, Pokemon posters, that they were only giving out if you bought something Pokemon related. Definitely didn't want anything Pokemon related. But I did pick up Animal Crossing New Leaf, brand new for the 3DS, which was only $20. Funny enough, this game used is like $23.
Mm-hmm.
So this used game is more than it brand new. I find that hilarious. So had to pick that up.
Good deal.
Then I went to Best Buy. And I picked up Mafia Definitive Edition for the X1, and I picked up Crash Bandicoot 4 for the PS4.
Nice.
Games I won't be able to play until I get back from Philly, but I'm excited that I have it in the collection. Definitely want to try Crash 4 because Crash was one of the best games on the original PlayStation.
I'm glad you enjoy that franchise. I just I can't. It's not my jam.
I know you can't. I know you can't.
Not my jam. It's not my jam.
So Dave, as we always try to start the show but epically fail, what have you been playing?
Well, I have been playing a game that I bet you have never heard of because I have never heard of it. It's give me credit.
Whoa. Rewind. Yo, just because you never heard of it doesn't mean I never heard of it. I probably even have this game in the collection. You don't even know.
Do you have Remnant from the Ashes for the PC?
Never heard of this game.
Told you. It kind of came out of nowhere. I believe it came out this year. It is a looter shooter, right? So it's in the kind of Borderlands style, right?
Okay.
And it's a little bit Cthulhu mythology. It's a little bit kind of, I don't know, just kind of like out there dystopian future type stuff, and you go to these different planets and you do all these little instances, right? And you fight these big boss monsters and you get loot and you just keep going. There's a whole like story, which is kind of cool. It's a fun game. A friend of mine was like, you need to get this game and play. And I watched some video and I said, yeah, I'm in. And it's good. It's fun. There's kind of a lot of really cool stuff about it. And, so I've been kind of making my way through that. I'm not nearly done with the story, I don't think. I'm only on the second planet so far. But it's kind of cool. Voice acting's on point. The graphics look good. So yeah. So how about you? What have you been getting?
So I've been playing a lot of handheld stuff. So I've been playing Carry On the Switch. I finally redeemed my code that Limited Run sent me because I don't have the physical copy yet. Right?
Nope.
It's just weird because you said that they were giving digital codes for games because obviously getting the physical made will be sort of like delayed.
Yeah.
I've ordered a crap load of games, and the only code I got was Carry On. Where's my Panzer Dragoon remake code?
Yeah, I don't necessarily know how it works with all games. I just assumed because they said that at one point in time. They said, "Look, orders are going to be delayed, but here's a free download key." Right.
So unless Carry On has some special like manual or stickers or something inside, I'm not going to open it because I have the physical, but I already redeemed it.
Yeah, why would you?
Because I was going to give it away on the show, but I really wanted to play it and I can't wait anymore. So I like the game. It's okay. It's it's good to be the monster this time, and there are certain parts in there where you're not the monster, but I don't want to, really put spoilers out there. So,
No,
I would say
still need to play it. Yeah.
I've only played like an hour of it. I mean, it's okay. I mean, there's some frustrating parts to it. Maybe it's just got to get used to the mechanics.
Right.
I've been also playing Jump Rope Challenge on the Switch. Download this game right now. If you don't have this game, download this game because
good
it is
exercise.
free. It's free. No, it's free, and we don't know how long it's going to be free.
I don't know. I'd have to
we don't
bust
know how
out
long
the
they're gonna be doing it for
original. I'd have to bust out the original and not the mini, right? Because you can't break the Joy-Cons off.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well,
That's true.
you can, but then your Switch is probably not going to work anymore.
And it doesn't have.
You could do that.
Just chop it off.
Yeah, we don't recommend it. I mean, you'll have nunchucks, but how effective they'll be is debatable.
So look, the game is it's good. I mean, you're jumping rope, and it really makes you jump rope. Like it made me jump like 200 times in a row.
Nice.
Just to get that meter up. It's I got to be honest, gamifying exercising. And now I want to buy that Fitbit challenge or whatever that game is.
Ring Fit
the game
Adventure.
With the Ring Fit Adventure. Yeah, I'm bad with names. People sue me.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? At me on Twitter. I don't care.
At you on Twitter. You're also adding me at the same time, Dan. Don't add us on Twitter.
All right. You know what?
Don't add us on Twitter.
You know what? Add us on Twitter. I don't care.
My God.
I screw up names.
This guy's
time.
starting drama. I mean, you do. Furukawa, Kimishima, geez, I don't know. The list goes on. Those are just two off the top of my head.
Oh, I forgot his name already.
Exactly.
I'm just bad. I'm bad with names.
Yeah,
so
it's
just to get the meter. I don't think I would ever just to jump 200 times in a row. But trying to get that meter to go up and up and up and up, I was like, wow, I really feel it in my calves, and this is something I kind of want to do now.
Yeah, so, man. That's
download this game. Download this game immediately just to get it over with.
Sure,
okay?
it's the sole reason why I played. Well, one of the sole reasons why I would play DDR and Just Dance all the time, because it's exercise, but it's gamified, right? So you want to hit the beats and listen to the music, and you want the high score, but like you're sweating. I was gonna say sweating to the oldies, but they're not really oldies.
And lastly, I've been playing PlayStation All-Stars on my Vita. I don't want to say too much about this game right now because I may use it as one of my Saturday morning retro games.
Sure.
Which is the reason why I picked it. But I will say this. I'm enjoying my time with it.
Yeah, and just for people who don't know, it's Sony's version of Smash Brothers. That's exactly what that game is. So they have all their properties.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And then some in there, so you get all your favorites. But, wow, okay.
100%.
Cool.
So, all right, why don't we take a break? When we come back, we get into the top gaming news of last week. And at the end of the news, I have a big surprise for Dave.
Hey, this is Matt Adler, freelance journalist for IGN, and you're listening to Rated G for Gamers podcast.
We're back. Before we get into the top gaming news of last week, we got something special. I know we haven't done it in a while. I don't even think we've done it in 2020, or maybe we did in the beginning of 2020. But we have a brand new giveaway. Dave, tell us about it.
Well, Dan, we are giving away one copy of Cyberpunk 2077 for the system of your choice. To enter, you must be following us on YouTube. You must like this video and drop a comment on what you're looking forward to in Cyberpunk in the comment section. You can enter once per episode up until the launch of the game. Also, this giveaway is only open to U.S. residents. Good luck to all who enter.
Man, we're giving away Cyberpunk. Look at that.
Man. Yeah, man.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to play Cyberpunk. I'm excited to see Keanu Reeves. I'm excited to change the different sizes of my body parts.
You want to make a big dong?
Itself.
You want to make a big dong? Is that what you're telling me? Listen, you can say it then. It's
I
fine. You want to use that dong slider?
I wanted to I wanted to be a size 15 in sneakers. I wanted my sneaker size to be size 15. That's all. That's all I wanted. I was just looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. I think I may have said it before, and I'm gonna say it in the most PC way possible. Outside of adult video games, I think this is the only game where you can change your junk. All right, so they're breaking new ground here, Dan. They're breaking new ground.
They're just making sure that you can be
who you want to be.
That you want to be virtually.
Right. Exactly. I think it's awesome. Like I don't necessarily care about like doing it specifically, like messing with the slider, but the fact that you can in the game is just like, it's just wild, right? Because it's like the future.
You can have big eyes. You can have big eyes, small nose, big mouth, big head.
Exactly.
And,
you can get all these like cybernetic enhancements. Why not? Yeah. It just makes sense.
All right.
Anyway.
So back to our regularly scheduled program. The top gaming news of last week. We got to start with our lead story. We have a new Smash Brothers character in Smash Brothers Ultimate.
And who would that be?
I got to be honest. It is. I mean, somebody that was rumored for a long time, and I said, yeah, maybe, right? And it was Steve from Minecraft.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. When I first saw it, I was like, but then I thought about it. Minecraft is big in Japan, like huge in Japan. They love Minecraft.
Mm-hmm. Well, so the world loves Minecraft.
The world loves Minecraft, but Japan loves Minecraft too.
Sure.
This is Microsoft trying to pander to that audience, right?
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we can pander. We can pander to that audience and make Steve a playable character. Mm-hmm. He looks so out of place. I love it.
It is a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could say the same for Game & Watch, Mr. Game & Watch, right? He's that old style.
Definitely out of place too. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about this. This isn't going to get me back into Smash anytime soon necessarily, but and I get why they did it. It's a boon for Microsoft. Now they have two franchises in Smash Brothers, so good on them.
Steve and Alex. Alex is the female version. So I guess this is like the Echo Fighter or whatever.
Right. So, well, you also get the zombies, and you get Enderman. The kind of Slender Man of that game, so you can be like four different costumes.
So we had 5 characters left. Now we have 4. We don't know when Steve is dropping, but if we're going on past sort of history, I would say it would drop in like November, December.
Right.
I'm gonna go in. Yeah, I would go in November, and then they'll tell us about the next one in December, and that'll drop in January.
Right. Yeah, January, maybe February. Yeah, probably at the latest.
I would. So I heard that they've been working on this deal for 2 years.
But it's not surprising.
So
not surprising. And Microsoft and Nintendo have a good relationship. They're definitely in bed with each other, as the term says. Because I think you brought it up a ton of times that Microsoft doesn't think of Nintendo as a direct competitor. So they're happy to work.
Yeah, they want Game Pass. They want to have a Game Pass app on the Switch.
They sure do. And you know what? Nintendo may do it. Nintendo may be the company to do it.
Furukawa-san may do it. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a younger CEO. He wants to take it in a different direction. He wants to put his own stamp on Nintendo. He may do it.
Mm-hmm. I think it'd be a good thing.
I think it would be an interesting thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it'll be good or bad. It'll be interesting.
Well, I mean,
Game Pass.
It gets the AAA games on the system without having to rework the AAA games, right? So you can play like Halo. Yeah.
Well, here's the problem. Nintendo has sort of like a standard that they have because they're more of a family-oriented company.
Well, yeah, in a way.
Like in Japan is different than the U.S., right? they're a little bit, like the characters can be a little bit more sexualized, and it's okay. But having a chainsaw rip your head off may not be something that they want on their platform, right?
Well,
so
I
maybe
see, I
not
think-
all the games on Games Pass will be available on the Switch.
I think
Right,
that's
if it
the
was
old
on the Switch.
Nintendo, because now we have Night Trap on the system, so we've come full circle, right?
We do, and Night Trap is tame compared to.
Well, there's like
I know we have
there's
more.
like-
We do have Mortal Kombat. We do have Mortal Kombat. on the
yeah,
system
and they
too,
have
so
they
I will
have
say
they
that.
have adult theme like hentai games on there. So, and you can get some of those. You can get some of those in the U.S. So it's.
All right.
I don't think it's the Nintendo of old. I mean, yes, there are some things that they're still like tamping down, and Nintendo of America was very censored, with a lot of the religious iconography and all that. So I mean, I get where that's coming from. Maybe there are some games that won't be available. Maybe that's a thing, but so we'll see.
Okay. Well, speaking of Phil Spencer, he's been on the record recently and said that we will have another generation after this, right? Like there will be another Xbox after the Series X.
Well, you mean like
So we will
another
have a generation.
physical system?
Yes.
Another physical.
Yes,
generation.
there will be. We will have another generation. We will have a generation 10, right? Because
Right.
the Xbox Series X and the PS5 are generation 9. So we will have a generation 10. And I think that's significant because people didn't think we would have a generation 8, right? Remember there were talks about, games are going down and sales are going down, and they don't know if we're going to have another generation. And then PS4 and Xbox One sold like gangbusters. They sold more than the PS3 and Xbox 360. Right? So I think it's significant to know that we will have another generation after this. They may want to do more digital things. They may want to do it differently than in the past, but we will have another generation after this, which is awesome.
Well, yeah,
Awesome to hear.
that's 100% where it's going. Like I think it's going to be different to where the digital version is the version, and then if you want a hard drive, like I think like you brought it up, like you can get maybe like an external hard drive to hook up to it if you want the physical option, right? Because
physical is not dying this generation, like with the 9th generation. It will be on the 10th generation. It may be a little bit less prevalent,
because I mean,
but
like,
it will be on the next generation as well.
Yeah, because I mean they have
It's not gonna die.
they have disk drives, right? It's launching with a disk drive option, so it's not quite there yet. There is
generation
the
10. Well, generation 9 is yes. Here is the console with a disk drive, but you can get a diskless drive on the side, right? If you want, and it may be lower spec, right? And at least in the case of Xbox.
yeah.
But when we get to the next generation, generation 10, it may be the main box is digital. And we have this side box that has a hard drive if you still want that type of thing. I think that's how it will go.
Well, the
Right?
infrastructure's there.
Maybe generation 11, if there is one, all diskless. You never know.
Well, you're
But
gonna need
I
you're
think-
gonna need some sort of interface box, right? Even if it's a small thing like a Chromecast or whatever, you're gonna need something, and someone's gonna need to provide it. So maybe that's not Microsoft in this case. Maybe they just are the service, and maybe like Google or Amazon or somebody big or Apple even provides the streaming box, and then you just like there you go. And your games are served up by this third-party thing. You use a Bluetooth controller, and then there it is. Game collectors everywhere start crying.
Well, we'll talk about Google in a minute, but I gotta put this PSA out there for everyone.
All right.
No, this is serious. This is really
Okay.
some serious stuff. Do not lick your goddamn Xbox Series X or Series S for that matter.
I wasn't planning on it, Dad.
That is a PSA from Xbox's social media manager, okay, Josh Stein. He said he's seen at least 4 people lick the box. Don't lick your consoles, people. They're not a delicious treat.
You know what, though?
They may look delicious to some of you, but they aren't delicious. They're probably disgusting. Just, don't lick other things. Don't lick your Xbox or your PS5. That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
All right, PSA done.
It's special plastic and all that, right? But are they saying that there's like hazardous chemicals in there by not saying it? Like not like hazardous, but like you probably shouldn't lick it because it's bad for you. Is that what they're saying? Because remember, with
the Switch, right?
Yeah,
with the Switch cartridges, they made it taste. They put something in it to make it taste nasty, so kids wouldn't put it in their mouth.
Right, which like I get, and then immediately I did it, and you're like, well, I got to do it too to see. And
you're an idiot. That's why
it was terrible and bitter. Everybody did it. No, everybody did it because
I
you
didn't
say,
lick it. I didn't lick it.
You did lick it. You did. You said you weren't gonna, and then you went in and you licked it.
Show me the episode. I don't remember.
You told me you did.
I don't remember this. I don't remember.
Don't deny it, Dan. Everybody did it. It's fine. Because when you tell people not to do something, right, and then it's like, well, I'm obviously going to do it now because you stomped your feet and you made such a big thing about it. So I would have.
So Dave, Dave, I want you to lick your Xbox Series X.
I'm not gonna. But it's just odd for someone to say, hey, don't do it, because like. What Nintendo, Super Nintendo, it's harmless plastic, right? It's molded, fabricated plastic. Like what could be so bad about that? Like I'm not gonna lick those consoles because I got them from garage sales and whatever, and who knows where they've been. But if you get one fresh out of the box, it's plastic.
All right. Well, I want you to lick the Series X when you get it.
You know what though? You know what I actually wonder. I wonder if it's a COVID thing. I wonder if it's because of the virus.
Well, why would it? Well, I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's probably not going to last. It's probably not going to last through shipment and whatever else. Like the virus probably wouldn't be on there that long. But maybe it's a thing, right? If it comes from a factory that's over in China or a heavily infected area, and it comes over here in a short amount of time, and then you lick the console and then you get sick, right? I mean, I don't know.
That's a stretch.
I'm speculating.
I'm just saying
it's possible.
I'm just saying don't pour any maple syrup or barbecue sauce or spaghetti sauce on your console. Don't lick it. It is not. You.
This is a very expensive dinner.
It is. It's probably more expensive than going to Wolfgang Puck's restaurant.
It's $503.49. It's a little bit cheaper because the barbecue sauce is marked down. For you to flavor your new console and try and lick it.
Yeah,
which
don't
obviously
lick consoles, people.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Don't lick your consoles, people.
That's so weird.
All right. Let's switch gears. Let's talk about PlayStation.
Please.
And don't lick the PlayStation either.
No. They're equally.
I haven't seen any PSAs, but I'm going to make one right now. Don't lick the PlayStation.
Go. Yeah.
Marvel Spider-Man. Marvel Spider-Man. Miles Morales will be a launch game. Well, in the realm of launch, right? Maybe a couple of days later. Mm-hmm. And you could get the Marvel Spider-Man original remastered edition, right? If you get if you pay the $20 extra for the $70 version, right? The definitive edition of Marvel Spider-Man, you will get Spider-Man in 60 frames per second gameplay and a new Peter Parker, apparently, which everyone's pissed at. You will not get the same. You won't get the same actual Peter
face
Parker
and mocap and all
face,
that.
and mocap that you got in the original game on the PS4. Right. So for the PS5, it would be totally different. And they sort of explain that they're because it's up, they're sort of upgrading for the new features to take advantage of the PS5, and they want new facial features. They needed to change it, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the old one better than the new one, and maybe it's just because I'm used to it, right?
Okay.
Like I beat the game and I grew a connection to that Peter Parker, except for this Peter Parker is like some new guy, right? Some fill-in, right? I don't know if you ever watch soap operas, but you'll watch a soap opera today, and you have like your guy, and then tomorrow there's some new guy playing the role,
the same role, right?
Your
it's
guy
like no one's gonna care, right?
Or left the show, yeah.
Right.
So, how do you feel about this? Because I'll be honest, at first I was like, I don't know about this, but now I really don't care.
Well,
because
I mean,
I'm not playing Peter Parker the remastered of Peter Parker. I'm playing Spider-Man. That's what I really care about.
I mean, sure, it's going to be jarring for a lot of people, right? Obviously, you saw the difference right away when you looked at the video. So it's it's apparent. They do their best to make it not apparent, but it is in service of the graphics and the animation, right? So that's the thing. Like, if you want this next gen visuals and all that, and you want everything to look good, and you want the faces not to look weird, this is kind of one of those things. They said, well, we have all this, now last generation mocap and facial animation and all that. And they're like, it's just not the same. We have to swap it out with this new stuff, and that comes at a cost to the developer to do all that. So it was, something that they obviously put time into and thought about and said, no, let's go ahead and do this because it's going to look better, right? It sucks that Spider-Man? It sucks that it's different. No, I didn't. I got to just about the end. I got to just.
How do you feel? You since you're playing it now, sort of, right?
Yeah.
You played it recently. How do you feel?
I think it's fine. I mean, it's in service of the graphics, right? They're doing it for a reason. It's not like when Konami replaced David Hayter with Kiefer Sutherland, right? Konami just wanted the name recognition. They could have had David Hayter, which was fantastic.
If you're going to replace anybody, if you're going to replace somebody, Keith Sutherland is a good replacement. I'm sorry.
100%, but it wasn't necessary, right? David Hayter, he wasn't just good for a video game actor. He was a good actor, right? He had gravitas. Everybody loved him.
Did you see the movie? Did you see the movie 21 Jump Street? You see the second 22 Jump Street?
22 Jump Street. I sure did.
Yeah. So did you see the end when they showed 23 Jump Street, 24 Jump Street, 25 Jump Street?
Yeah.
And there was 26 Jump Street.
Yeah.
And one of the guys were replaced by somebody else.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You look different." He's like, "I'm good." And then in the next movie, it's like, "Wow, you looking back to normal." And he's like, "Yeah, our contract negotiations went well."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then they even noted, because they 21 Jump Street was the address, right? So 22 Jump Street is the address across the street, right? Because that's the even side. And then as Ice Cube's walking him in, he's like, "Oh yeah, we also have that building across the street there, 23 Jump Street, and in case this goes really well." Yeah. No, it's yeah. It's funny. It's funny.
I'm so happy they didn't do the Jump Street Men in Black crossover. That would have been stupid.
Were they going to do that?
Yeah, that Sony had.
That's weird.
Sony Movie Pictures had. They wanted to do, because after they did Men in Black 4, that was it for Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. So they were like, all right, well, we still own the franchise of Men in Black. Let's do a crossover with another comedy duo. And they wanted to do it with Channing Tatum and the other guy. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head.
Right.
21 Jump Street. That would have been weird. So they did the international Men in Black instead. Which,
which not apparently not great.
Still wasn't good anyway.
No,
it was. I saw part of it. I didn't see all of it, so I still reserve judgment.
Okay.
And I reserve judgment for this too, because whenever I do get a PS5, I will get the definitive edition, just so I can play as the new Peter Parker
in 4K.
Game. Okay, in 4K. So let's transition to something that you brought up earlier. You talked about Google and, putting out streaming boxes and stuff, and they have Stadia, right? But I don't feel like Google's putting everything behind Stadia right now. You know why? Because their new Chromecast won't even officially support Stadia at launch in 2021.
Yeah.
They said it will support it at a later date, like in 2022. Or the second half of 2021. That's stupid.
Right.
How is that not day one Stadia is on your Google Chromecast?
That should be priority. That should be priority on your streaming service, right? Support all of your, it's what? A vertical integration, right? You have a thing that streams, right? Oh, obviously you're going to support YouTube, right? Obviously you're going to support YouTube Music and all that and all your other stuff. You're going to support Stadia, right? Well, why not? Why is that not high on your list of tickets, right? We need to support Stadia. Oof.
See,
Yeah.
this is this all digital. This is that all digital future where you get to buy the games and then the platform goes away, and now you no longer own those games that you paid for $60 for.
Right. So
You don't own it. You just own the right to stream it anywhere you want. That takes Stadia.
Mm-hmm. So here's what's interesting, right? The Chromecast Ultra, which is the 4K version of it, right? I think it's like $80 or whatever it is. That one does support Stadia. So they had the technology in that like current version. This is obviously a more robust version, right? It's got more features and whatever. It's updated tech, and they're saying that it's just not ready yet. So I don't know. But as a side note to that too, you can't get the Chromecast Ultra anymore. They're not selling it separately.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I don't know what Google. I don't know what Google's thinking right now. I mean, you have
weird.
Luna. That's out.
Amazon's thing,
Xbox. You
Game
have
Pass.
Xbox, Project xCloud.
Oh, xCloud, yeah.
Both seem like they're better deals than Stadia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're subscription services, where Stadia is sort of like, no, you gotta buy the game and have a subscription too, kind of.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's weird. Not into that.
A little bit.
But I want to talk about something that is sort of, when I first heard this, I thought this was like, wow, really? But it's kind of cute.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Tokyo Game Show last week. Tokyo Game Show has come to an end, and every year they name their game of the year from September to September. Remember, Tokyo Game Show is always in September.
Yep.
Just like the game awards is from like, December to December. But you got to get the votes in before like the first 2 weeks of November.
Right.
Animal Crossing New Horizons won Game of the Year at Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah.
This is like the second best selling game of all time for the Switch, right behind Mario Kart, which came out like 3-4 years ago.
Right.
Right. So
well, good
crazy.
for Animal Crossing. They deserve it, man. This is the perfect game for the worst year. All right. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Everyone's quarantined indoors, and then Animal Crossing comes out, the game where you build your little community on this desert island. It's perfect. It's the perfect escapism, right? They keep putting all this new stuff in there. It's not my jam, but people love it, around the world. So good on Nintendo.
All right, Dave, this is not the end of the news. I have something special I want to talk about. To end the show.
This is news to me, Dan.
Yes.
I'm very surprised right now. What do you got?
I got something special I want to end the show with. All right, because it's special to me. IGN I don't know if this was sort of a poll. I think it was a poll where people voted. And they voted for the best video game of the 90s. And guess what got number one with 91.2% of the vote? Guess which game?
Wow, Dan.
Is the best game of the 90s.
Tell me what game won the best game of the 90s.
Super Mario World.
I mean, sure.
Yeah, and guess what?
Sure.
Guess what game? Okay. Guess what game got like, it didn't get number one, obviously. I think it was like number 10 or number 12. Are you ready? Oh, number 10. Super Mario All-Stars. That has Super Mario Brothers 3 in it right there.
Yeah. See,
if Super Mario Brothers 3 was so good, it would have made Super Mario All-Stars number one. Best game of the 90s.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's fair to put a compilation on there. I'll say that. I don't think that should have been nominated in that way. Because that's not fair. Because what if there's like a hypothetical 50-in-1 cart that has Super Mario World and Final Fantasy 3 and Uncharted and, like all the like top games of all time. You're like, well, that's the cart you're going to vote for. So I don't think that should count. If this were the best games of all time, then
of the
Super Mario
80s.
Brothers 3.
It would even win
then Super Mario Brothers 3. All right.
Super Mario Brothers 3 wouldn't even win the best game of the 80s.
Wow. Well, I'm looking at the top 10, and 8 out of the 10 games, 9 out of the 10 games, eight out of the 10 games are Super Nintendo properties. 6 out of the 10 games are exclusive Super Nintendo properties, and 2 are multi-plat, Super Nintendo and Genesis. Wow. That goes to the testament of, so this is the 90s, right?
Yeah, the 90s.
This includes PlayStation. This includes Neo Geo. This includes Sega CD, Jaguar, 3DO, so many other systems, and they're not
Yeah.
They're not represented in the top 10. That is amazing. That is amazing. Wow. All right.
Just
Well, good for Super Mario World. That's great. Like I said, if you included the 80s, this would be number 2. It's not though.
Super Mario Brothers 3 would be like number 5.
Number 1, and Mario World would probably be number 2 or number 3. And they'll be very happy to have that spot.
Listen, just like November 3rd, when you go out there and you vote, if you're in America, you vote because let your voice be heard. Mm-hmm. People's voices were heard here because they voted. Mm-hmm. The best game of all time. That was the best game of the 90s. Just so happened to be the best game of the 90s as well. Super Mario World.
Well, they voted by email, right? They voted by email.
You think I emailed like 18,000 times?
Well, I'm just saying. You know that mail-in voting is rigged, Dan. So this doesn't count. Somebody rigged the email ballots. Oh, well. I see now why you wanted to post this story up. That is very interesting. All right. Hey, look. I love Super Mario World. Don't get me wrong. It is amazing. 3 is a better game, objectively. So.
Yeah. No. You're not objective. Mm-hmm. I'm objective. I think I'm.
Are you?
I'm more objective.
Are you objective?
Yeah, I'm more objective.
I don't know.
I'm more
objective. So, on that note, and I know Dan is very happy about this, that is the end of episode 238. So before we go, we just want to remind all of our listeners that we have a contest going on. We have brought it back for one of the biggest games of the year, we think, Cyberpunk 2077. We are giving away 1 copy for the system of your choice. So to enter this competition, you must be following us on YouTube. You must like this video and drop a comment on what you're looking forward to in Cyberpunk in the comments section. You can enter once per episode up until the launch of the game. Also, this giveaway is only open to U.S. residents. Good luck to all who enter. And if you want to interact with us, like in this contest, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. Check out all the fine podcasts featured on there if you're looking for more gaming goodness at gamingpodcastalliance.com. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.